So are we live?
Yeah.
Hold on. All right. Welcome, everyone. Well, I don't know that everyone's here yet. Let me get this set up. Send a request. JG Signature Weddings. How you doing down there? Nice and warm in the Caribbean? All right, so we're going to give everyone a little while to join in here, and as they join in, we'll start getting ready to get the sabrage going. As I said on my initial video yesterday, I am usually not used to being in front of the camera, but the thing that I like about today is I get to talk about something near and dear to my heart, champagne. Don't get me wrong, I love photography, I love documenting weddings. But if I won the lottery, would I be documenting weddings tomorrow? Probably not. I'd just be drinking this stuff all day. Okay? So let's see who we have.
Our friends in Lexington.
Yeah,
hey, girls.
there
I
we
was
go.
just thinking about y'all a couple days ago.
Photo Puma. All right, so we've got 4 coming in. So what we're going to do, I'm thinking this is probably only going to take maybe 10 to 15 minutes from start to finish. If you have a bottle of champagne and it is well chilled, then by all means get ready to grab that and grab your sword or your knife.
We can actually post you in live if you are so brave to do it with us. You can join the call.
One thing I forgot to say is I wanted to make sure, or just say that I hope everyone is safe and healthy and everyone is doing well through this very tough time. Obviously, champagne and reaching out to everyone like this on Instagram and Facebook Live and Zoom is an awesome way to keep busy and keep close with everyone. So we hope that everybody's doing well out there. And we can't wait to get out on the other side of this and drink this stuff with you guys. All right. Let's see. Who else? Ready to be allowed to travel to Europe? We're going to come see you. Absolutely. Let's do Tuscany again. Why don't we? All right. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to do first is we're going to talk a little bit about the history of sabrage, because this was more than just a modern-day party trick, or at least according to legend and folklore. So the supposed history of sabrage goes back to the days of Napoleon, and sorry, I'm getting messages from my producer there. Goes back to the days of Napoleon when his soldiers were on horseback, and there are many different stories. It could be said that they returned from victory and were handed bottles of champagne, and obviously not being able to just take both hands and remove the cage and everything, they just pulled their saber out and lopped the top off. There's another story that is tied to old Madame Clicquot. So for those of you that drink Veuve Clicquot, that story goes to the effect of, let's see, I don't want to get it wrong. So Madame Clicquot, after her divorce, after she was widowed, let's just grab it here. She inherited her husband's small champagne house at the age of 27, and she used to entertain Napoleon's officers in her vineyard. As they rode off in the early morning with their complimentary bottle of champagne, they would open it with a saber to impress the rich young widow. How this came to be for us is my best friend, his sister, asked that I learn how to do this for his wedding. So I researched the history and everything, and we came across the quote that Napoleon used that goes something to the effect of, in victory one deserves it, in defeat one needs it. Since moving to France, we have adopted that as our motto, because for our French friends, or our friends that live in France know, moving to France, dealing with French bureaucracy and everything, there are many, many defeats and a few victories. So no matter what happens, good or bad, we always have champagne at the end of the day, okay? Let's see. So there is also, believe it or not, there is an official organization of sabragers. It is called the Confrérie de Sabre d'Or, so the Order of the Gold Saber. And in order to join it, you just go to one of their cavos and you say you want to learn how to do this, and they start teaching you. And like most military organizations, they actually have ranks as you climb up in experience. So I didn't realize this until today, but apparently I have a small claim to fame, at least if I lived in the UK I did. So if you've never sabraged before, you were considered a SABER. After that, you move up through the bottle sizes. If you sabrage a Magnum, which this is a regular bottle, 750 milliliters, Magnum would be un peu bigger. So, hey Valerie, how are you doing? So Magnum would be a little bit bigger. It's 2 bottles, and actually I have a cool little stat for those of you that didn't realize the many different sizes of champagne. This is all the different sizes. Okay? So, we have the Magnum, the Jeroboam, Rehoboam, Methuselah, which is this big guy here. This is 6 liters, which consists of 8 bottles together. The Salmanazar, the Balthazar, Nebuchadnezzar, which if you guys remember seeing the video of a 3 Michelin star restaurant at New Year's destroying a massive bottle when they tried to sabrage it, it was a Nebuchadnezzar that supposedly was around $2,000. A Nebuchadnezzar is 20 bottles of champagne in one large bottle. After that is the Salomon, the Souverain, the Primat, and the Melchizedek, or the Midas, and that one is 40 bottles all in one. That's the largest that they have. So let's see, we got a few more people coming in.
Kevin's here.
Kevin, yeah. So shout out to my buddy Kevin here in Paris. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday.
Bon anniversaire.
In honor, when he saw we were going to do sabrage, he decided to sabrage himself. But he took it to another level, which I've pulled off once, and he did it with the bottom of a wine glass. What he didn't fully prepare for was it shooting over the edge of his balcony, so seeing his reaction on his Instagram video is priceless. It just goes over the top and he looks back into his life. So happy birthday, my friend. Let's see. So if you sabrage Magnum, you then become a Chevalier with the Order of the Gold Saber. After Chevalier, if you sabrage a Jeroboam, you become an Officier. After that, if you sabrage a Rehoboam, which is 6 bottles all in one, you become a Commandeur. Then apparently comes the ultimate test of swordsmanship. Eventually you sabrage a Methuselah, said one of the cavaliers. Obviously these bottles get bigger and bigger, and then when you get to sabrage a Methuselah, the only thing you can do is stand it upright. You have to lay it down on something, you can't hold it because it's just too heavy. But apparently there are only 4 Grand Commandeurs in the UK that have sabraged this, and this guy right here I did last year for Mardi Gras. This was the cork, so apparently I could be in rare company if I were ever to move to the UK. So usually it's a much cleaner break on the smaller bottles. I guess with the larger bottles there's just a little bit more to it. So there is that. Alright, so hey Catherine, how you doing out there in the country? Alright. Sorry, I keep looking down at the iPad to see who's joining, and I think I'm talking to them, but I really need to talk over here. Okay, so if you have your bottle, go ahead and grab it. Your requirements, first of all, don't be scared about doing this. It is not dangerous. There is a small chance your bottle could explode, but we'll address that. What happens or what causes the bottle to explode is when it's not cold enough, so it's got to be cold. Cold. First of all, a French bottle is preferred. That's not just me being a homer living in France now. It has to do with the pressure in the bottles. Different types of sparkling wines have different levels of pressure. The French bottles of champagne have the highest pressure. Little trivia quiz here, or a little trivia knowledge. So anything that's made in France within the Champagne region, which is just a 30-minute drive or 30-minute train ride from Paris, the 2 main cities are Reims and Epernay. Anything made within that region is called champagne. But almost everything that's sparkling is made in a very similar method to the way they do it in Champagne, but it just cannot bear that name. And Champagne protects their trademark so much. When the iPhone, or when Apple decided to do their rose gold or their champagne gold, the committee, or whoever it is, the officials with Champagne, actually brought a lawsuit against Apple and won, and said you cannot use that. That's how much they protect that. So let's see, where was I going with that? I lost my track. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, champagne. So if it's made in the Champagne region, it's called champagne. Anything sparkling made outside of the Champagne region, but in France, is called crémant. If it's made in Italy, it's called Prosecco. If it's made in Spain, it's called Cava. If it's made in the US, it's sparkling wine. So once you go from French champagne, all the other different types of sparkling have lower PSIs. So not that it won't work, you're just guaranteed better results with the French bottles, okay? So that's the first thing. Bottle of champagne, well chilled. Second, you want a heavy-duty knife, okay? So my knife of choice is my 10-inch chef's knife. And One of the very important notes about this is you do not use the sharp edge. You are not cutting glass at all. It's all about pressure and the seam weak point of the bottle. So you would use the back side here. And I would suggest not using this. Use it closer to the base of the bottle or the center, okay? If you're really into doing this and you drink a lot of champagne, then you would go ahead and get yourself an actual SABER. I want to say we got this on a website called bighammerwines.com. It's about $150. And then that's the little engraving of the quote that I said from Napoleon. And this is not a sharp edge. You can see how I'm running my hand across here. So I will be using what you would think is the sharp edge of this. They just made it flat and dull, like it would be on the back of a chef's knife. Okay? So the great thing about this is it's heavy and has a lot of weight. So it basically goes through the bottle like butter. There's never, I say this now and watch it not happen. There's never been a time with this that it doesn't happen on the first try.
Can you speak to, you said just make sure it's chilled. Any other specifics to that?
No, you just want it ice cold. If you don't think your bottle's cold enough, let's say you just didn't have enough time to get it in the fridge or the freezer and your guests are over and you want to get it going quickly, put it upside down so the neck is submerged in ice. You could do a little bit of water so it's a small ice bath. But that you want to just get the neck as chilled as possible if you have to do something very quickly. Ideally, you would just put it in the coldest part of your refrigerator, several hours before, and then you should be fine, okay? So those are the requirements, all right? Now the steps. So before, all champagne has foil wrapped around. This is a bottle of Dom Perignon 2008. This is not what we drink every day. But it is a very beautiful, delicious bottle of champagne. And they do a very good job with their foil. They do it differently than most other champagne houses, so it's extremely hard to peel off, okay? But let me start at the top here. Where's the tab? There we go. So you're going to take this foil off, and ideally you want to take it off the entire neck. Okay, because that is going to expose the seam of the bottle. Sorry, just give me a second here. Do we have any questions yet? Oh, hey Annette, how are you doing? Hope you guys had a good Mardi Gras. Let's see. Okay, so come back in with the camera, Cheyenne. So if you rub your thumb on the bottle, if it's not easy to see, eventually you'll find a seam. Can you see that on the camera? That little line?
Yes.
Yeah. So it might be easier to see on the big bottle. No?
Yeah, a little right there.
Not so much.
Just depends how it hits the light.
Yeah, so you'll feel there's a seam on both sides of the bottle. It's basically where they took the two halves of the bottle and fused it together. You need that to be fully clear of the foil, so that way it doesn't interrupt the sliding of the knife. I think because Dom Perignon's bottles have a much larger lip or ridge right here, the technical term, believe it or not, for this little ridge is called the annulus. But I think I might just leave it on this one. I will get another bottle after this to show you what you normally would do to just get all the foil off and find that seam, okay? So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to undo the cage. And
Tell them about the twists.
So all champagne cages have 6 twists. So if you have a bottle at home or if you do this later when you're watching the video, start counting the twists and it's going to be 6 full twists. Every single bottle. I'm pretty sure it goes for regular bottles, not just French champagne. I don't know why or what the rhyme or reason is, but they all have 6. Let's see. Oh, sipping coffee on my porch currently. You saw the seam. Good deal, Valerie. All right. So what you're going to do next, very carefully, you're going to lift the cage just above that lip and then twist it back down. This will keep the cork and the glass and everything together, much like what you see here. Okay? Now, we did a test a long time ago when we were first learning how to do this, and basically once you undo the cage, you have about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the bottle, the temperature and everything, before the cork just spits itself out. So you don't want to do this until you're absolutely ready to do the sabrage, okay? And once you have that set, find your seam again. A lot of times if you have a hard time getting the foil off like we do on this particular bottle, let's see, you could try to take your thumb, you could take the knife and just scrape away. But again, this is so smooth and so like almost vacuum sealed onto the bottle, I don't think it's going to give me an issue at all. And let's see. Don't use wave.
Make sure you don't talk too long and it prematurely pops.
Yes, okay. So remove the bottle, find seam. If the bottle's wet, go ahead and dry it. If you're concerned about it possibly breaking, you can take a towel and just wrap it around the base of the bottle, so when you're holding it, this is all wrapped in a towel. If it does explode, the towel will just catch all the glass, you won't get cut, you'll be fine. I do know people that the bottle is exploded on and they made it out okay, they did not get injured. The other thing is, once the bottle is sabraged, do not carry it by the neck anymore because there could be sharp glass up here. And yeah, there's some other things, but we'll talk about that after the actual sabrage. So the bottom of the bottle is called the punt, okay? It's where you put your thumb in there and you hold it like this. You hold it this way to give yourself the full real estate of the bottle here. If you're holding it like this, then your thumb and your hand is blocking the knife or the saber from sliding up and down the bottle, okay? So you hold it like this. What angle you point it at is completely up to you. We're doing this in our apartment with relatively low ceilings, so I'm just going to aim it to where I want it to hit. But typically it's about a 45-degree angle. The cork, it depends on how, I don't know how long they average. We've had them go just a few feet. We've had them go 10, 15 yards, okay?
We've had them go just over my head, like maybe today.
Yeah, can we please do this together when we finally come visit? Absolutely, we can do this every day. All right. Oh, the other big thing that I want you to know before we do this is when you do slide, when you do go to sabrage, a lot of people have a tendency to stop when they hit this. Do not stop. Follow through, okay? Sometimes it might take 2, 3, 4, 5 whacks at it. Generally, after about 5 attempts is when I stop and I just say, all right, it's not going to happen. But just go through with confidence and don't stop right there, okay? Did I forget anything else?
Trying to remember you stopping and not finishing. I'm worried about the time. Okay. Producer's saying, go, go.
Right. So, here we go. All right, where's the best angle for the camera, producer lady?
Let's go here, but
right
you need
there?
your tool.
Okay. All right. So, the other important thing is have a glass handy.
Thank you.
So as soon as the bottle is sabraged, you can go ahead and recoup.
Go a couple steps forward.
About right here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is my seam running right along there. And I'm just going to go through, I'm going to hit, and I'm just going to go all the way through. Don't go bam and stop. You want to go all the way through. Hopefully this doesn't mess anything up.
Just don't hold it lower.
Okay, so are we good right there?
Mm-hmm.
Some people kind of do this to get ready.
Here we go.
All right, like 1, 2, 3. That has nothing to do with whether it works or not. You're not warming up the bottle or any crap like that I've heard. It's just getting ready. And then from there, you just go.
Woo! Our poor rug, it's not the first time. It probably won't be the last.
So one of the other details I was going to say earlier that I said we'd talk about after the fact is some people get concerned about glass. Like, is there going to be glass in your bottle of champagne or in your glass of champagne? Answer is no, absolutely not. The force with which this comes out pushes any little shards, if there were any, away. But come in on the tip of this. You see how sharp that is in some of these edges? That's why you don't want to carry it from here anymore, because if your hand slides up, it could hit this and you'll get cut. I've done that before, it's not fun. So from here on out, you just carry it by down here. This is the result, so very nice, clean break. The cage has held it together. All right?
You need a glass.
Okay. And then, most importantly, the fun part.
It's Champagne Saturday.
Is to drink. Because in victory, one needs it. Or in victory, one... How does it go?
In defeat, one needs it. In victory, one deserves it. In victory or defeat, we drink champagne.
So good. All right, so let's see. Bravo, merci. Oh, yes. All right, so what else could we talk about? With champagne goes food. Typically anything that's really salty. So think salted nuts, chips, popcorn as, what do they call it? Like the high-low thing. I don't want to use the words low class. It's not the right terminology. But even though popcorn and potato chips and salted nuts doesn't sound like something that would reach the level of champagne, it actually pairs really well because of the saltiness and everything. If you're in France and get to go to Champagne, one of the things you're going to notice a lot are these little rosé biscuits. But the other thing that they always have, often with champagne, are called gougères. So gougères are basically like a little puff pastry. And then it has some Comté cheese, is usually the cheese that they put in it. It's not like a big gooey cheese ball or anything. It's just a little bit in there. It's kind of a nutty flavored cheese with a decent amount of salt. So this is one of the things that you're usually going to find in Champagne with the champagne tastings. Let me grab another bottle and show you guys.
Yes, Valerie, pommes frites all the way.
Okay, so this would be what you're most likely to incur. A very easy to peel foil. So you're going to take it off and then you'll just peel all the way down. Okay. And then let's go over to the window light here. And
is this your favorite bottle?
This is actually my favorite champagne. So let's see. How's the light? So you see it's right here?
Yeah, you can see it good on that one.
That line. So that means there's going to be another one on the exact opposite side. Right there. Either one works, it's just the seam of the bottle. And you can see the lip isn't quite as pronounced here as the Dom Perignon. Right? So as delicious as Dom Perignon is, I don't think it's necessarily feasible for everyone to drink it every day. It certainly isn't for us. But this, I want to give a shout out to Champagne Étienne Charret. They're part of the Vigneron Indépendant, which is the independent wine growers in Champagne, so they're smaller producers. I order this at €16 a bottle, and within 2 days, a case of it's delivered to my door. Absolutely delicious.
Has an oaky-ish profile that Doug really loves.
So if you go to Champagne, definitely check out all the big houses. They have beautiful caves, beautiful houses to visit. But definitely also check out the independent wine growers, the Vigneron Indépendant, because they make some really good stuff that you're just not going to find in the stores back home. Okay, let's see what else. Oh yes, pommes frites, champagne and pommes frites. Do we have any questions? Did anybody do this while they were watching?
Has anybody that's watching done this before?
Yeah, let's see. Talk to us. What we got? Anybody? No. Everybody's going to watch the replay and get their bottles chilled. So, styled shooting champagne. That's
yes,
you know?
yes.
I'm not going to complain about that one.
We could do that. Doug wants to do his first century ride to Champagne. It was supposed to have happened last fall, but didn't. So hopefully it's supposed to happen this year.
So for those of you not into cycling, a century ride is your first 100-mile ride ever. It just so happens to be that Champagne is 100 miles from Paris. So what better way to celebrate getting your first 100 miles than arriving in Champagne? And we'll just talk to, let's see, I've had several clients do this at the start of the reception. I love it, absolutely. So the surprising thing about the 2 or 3 times that we've been to Champagne is the restaurants. We have dined at some amazing restaurants and spent probably half of what we spent in Paris. It was actually so cheap. There are several good restaurants in Épernay and in Reims that have prefix meals. So one was a Michelin star restaurant, and I think for dinner it was it €45 for the 3-course?
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Ridiculously cheap. And there are some other non-Michelin starred that were €37 for a 3-course prefix meal, and they were spectacular. Did you just reverse the camera? Oh, yeah. There you are. Look.
I hijacked.
Yes, she is. So what are you guys doing to help pass the time on this Saturday? For us, actually, and for those of you that didn't know, we are in Paris. It is 6:25 p.m. We do daylight savings time tonight. So we're a couple of weeks behind the U.S. So I think we're going to go from 6 hours to 7 hours behind now for Central. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We're normally 7,
Got
for this few week time span. We are 6 and only 5 ahead of Eastern right now.
Yeah. And for those of you that saw the initial video I posted yesterday, we do have more things coming this week. So I know you've gotten kind of a sneak peek here of the apartment, but for our American friends that are used to like the 1,500, 2,000 square foot places, we are going to give you a tour of our 440 square foot apartment and show you how we live tiny in Paris, but very comfortably. We will tell you the 2 lotion story. I know we got a lot of comments on that. People are anxious to hear about that one. But I think right now we could show you the terrace because we cleaned that up of bikes and everything today.
We were initially going to do all this outside. It was really warm earlier today because we get the sunny part early in the day, but it's gotten a little chilly.
This is currently our saving grace of 440 feet.
We got our bikes. Usually we keep them covered, but weather was nice today and used them. Got a little roundabout down there. I feel like I need to start making names for our neighbors because, of course, we're all seeing each other a lot right now, hanging out. Nobody's out right now, though. So that Doug will know who I'm referring to, even though I don't know their real names. Hi, Toulouse!
We did have a request for videos of Toulouse, and we made one today, giving him a baguette so you can see just how French this dog has become. And it's hard to see, but in the distance...
there!
That's what's up.
Juste le type. We call it chez Juste le type. Hi, pup. Yeah, say hi. Toulouse, sit. 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 I don't have any baguette. I just want you to sit. Oh, that's a good boy. Say hi, everybody. Hello, Miss Bloss. Let's see. I'm just following Doug. Where are we going? What are we doing?
I think that's it. I think it's just time to eat, drink, and be merry.
I need a refill.
Oh, yes, we do.
So, guys, enjoy your weekend. I hope everyone's taking time to rest and rejuvenate during this time. I know we are trying to stay a little normal through the week and enjoy our time on the weekend as much as possible right now.
I thought you had it reversed on you.
Oh, no, I don't. I was still... Oh. But we can say bye together.
Ah, there you go.
Whew, man, I'm way overdue for a haircut.
So, we will post more soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Santé.
Santé. Bye, guys. Au revoir. Bisous, bisous. Love y'all, too. I hope to see you the next time I'm in Kentucky. Thank you, Valerie. You too. Yay. See y'all later.